Now, today we will study about the muscular tissue. The muscular tissue entirely consists of cells specialized to contract. Muscle contraction is responsible for all the bodily movements. When at rest, muscle cells are always in a state of partial contraction or tonus. Histologically, three different types of muscles are distinguished as smooth muscle, striated muscle, and cardiac muscle. Each of them is adapted to perform one special kind of contraction. However, their common characteristics are as the tissue consists of elongated cells or muscle fibers with well defined nuclei. Their fibers are surrounded by a limiting plasma membrane known as sarcolemma. Their cytoplasm, also called sarcoplasm, is acidophilic in nature. The sarcoplasm contains fibrils known as myofibrils running parallel to the long axis of the cell. Muscle fibers have a plentiful supply of blood vessels and nerves. The fibers exhibit two fundamental properties of protoplasm, that is contractility and conductivity. Muscle fibers always contract along their length. The chemistry of muscle fibers are they consist of 40% of body mass. They are about 40% of body mass. Among them, 50% at rest and 70% when working of the total metabolism is due to muscular activity. The protein also present in the muscles, they comprise about 80% of the they are about 80% of the solid contents. They may be classified as intracellular in the form of fibrillar and sarcoplasmic and extracellular as connective tissue proteins. The major physiologically important intracellular proteins are actin and myosin. These comprise 40 to 60% of the total muscle proteins and are involved in the contractile process. The ATP converted into ADP reaction in muscle is catalyzed by myosin. The sarcoplasmic proteins include myoglobin and various enzymes. Myoglobin is the muscle hemoglobin. It occurs in small amounts but has greater affinity for oxygen than hemoglobin. Carbohydrate is present in the form of the glycogen as a chief constituent of the muscle. It is derived from blood glucose and serve as a source of high energy phosphate bonds for ATP resynthesis. Lipid is also present in the form of neutral fats, phospholipids, glycolipids, cholesterol, etc. In addition to these, vitamins and amino acids also occur in muscles. Inorganic substances are present in the form of potassium, sodium, magnesium, calcium, and ferrous. Manganese, cobalt, copper also present in trace amount. Chloride and sulfur is also occur. These ions are useful in osmotic and acid-base equilibrium. A proper balance between the cations is also necessary for normal muscle irritability and contractility. So, Today we will study about the smooth muscle fiber or smooth muscles. This is also termed non-striated or involuntary muscle. It arises from the mesenchyme. The muscle consists of slender, fusiform, unbranched, and uninucleate fibers, about 15 to 500 micrometer long. Each fiber is about 6 micrometer in diameter at its thickest portion. The oval or cylindrical nucleus of a smooth fiber is elongated in the long axis of the cell and is central in position. It may contain several nucleoli. During contraction of the fiber, the nucleus becomes distorted. The more fluid sarcoplasm is especially evident around the nucleus. In it are present many mitochondria, some rough endoplasmic reticulum, free ribosomes, a small Golgi complex, and glycogen granules. In addition, the sarcoplasm exhibits numerous longitudinal myofibrils under the electron microscope. These are aggregates of very thin and homogeneous myofilaments formed of contractile proteins actin and myosin. The myofilaments do not present the same orderly arrangement as in striated muscles. The plasma membrane is thin and indistinct, but under the electron microscope it shows two layers, outer and inner. At places where two cells come together, the neighboring outer layer fuse to form a gap junction or nexus. This is useful in transmitting the impulse for contraction from one fiber to another. The individual muscle fibers are supported and held together by a sheath of connective tissue formed of reticular and fine collagenous fibers. Between the larger bundles of fibers, there are coarse, collagenous, and elastic fibers. Smooth muscles occur in the wall of alimentary canal, blood vessels, urinary bladder, uterus, etc. Their contractions are involuntary, slow, and sustained. Smooth muscles can work for long period of time and do not become fatigued easily.